Thank you, Lord. In the top stories, government launched a 2026 back-to-school voucher program to help ease pressure on households. 4 Caribbean countries subject to U.S. visa bond valued up to $20,000. And on the international scene, President Donald Trump says the United States will reduce military drills in South Korea. Hello and welcome to today's ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. I am Jasmine Thomas. The government of St. Christopher and Nevis is again moving to ease the financial pressures on households with the launch of its 2026 back-to-school voucher program, providing EC $250 for eligible child enrolled in a registered educational institution across the Federation. The program, which begins from today, 17th August, and runs through to December 31st, 2026, will assist parents and guardians with the cost of school uniforms, educational supplies, and other back-to-school necessities. It applies to eligible children enrolled for the 2026-2027 academic year in duly licensed preschools, primary and secondary schools, as well as tertiary institutions. The initiative comes at the time when countries across the Caribbean and the wider world continue to contend with persistent inflation, elevated prices, and external economic pressures that are affecting household budgets. Against this challenging global backdrop, the Drew-led administration has maintained that government cannot simply observe these pressures from the sidelines, but must continue to respond with meaningful, practical, and targeted interventions that protect families and strengthen their ability to withstand economic shocks. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Terence M. Drew expressed that the back-to-school voucher program reflects that continued commitment to standing with the people of St. Christopher and Nevis, particularly at a time of the year when households' expenses traditionally increase. The 2026 Back-to-School Voucher Program also forms part of the government's wider summer support strategy, alongside 2 discounted VAT rate days scheduled for August 28 and 29, as well as duty-free concessions on eligible school supplies, which have been in effect since the 1st of July and will continue through the 30th of September. Collectively, the measures are intended to provide families with additional financial space as they prepare their children for the new school year. Financial Secretary Carlton Pogson says the Federation's dependence on the CBI program is decreasing. Speaking on the In Focus program, Mr. Pogson said this is due to government's decision not to base its budget on the program alone.
When I go back and I look at several of our budgets over the years, our budget was heavily anchored on CBI. Having taken office as acting FS up to the last budget, and was the lead on preparing the 2026 budget. The previous year budget in particular, about 49% of the budget, the revenue side of the budget, was based on CBI.
Revenue generated from CBI.
Correct. And I would have said to the Honorable Cabinet, look, we cannot be anchoring the budget on something we have no direct control over. And so for the 2026 budget, we moved from 49% down to 28%. And so while we are behind in terms of CBI revenue performance to date, the economy continues to float and operate well, all because we have not anchored government ability to operate solely on CBI.
The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is warning the public about several WhatsApp scams across the Federation, including one claiming that it's informing persons that they have committed speeding violations. The scam works by informing persons that they have an outstanding traffic violation and then directs them to a fraudulent website where they are then asked to pay, exposing their personal information, which is then captured and used for the purpose of fraud. The police are advising the public to use only legitimate government websites that typically have .gov as their ending. Meanwhile, the RSCNPF has reminded the public to think before they click to prevent themselves from being victims of scams. The 4-week regional maritime operation was carried out in May by CARICOM Impacts in coordination with regional and international partners. The intelligence-led operation brought together forces from 14 CARICOM member states and 7 associate members, along with partners including Canada, Colombia, France, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Interpol. Authorities generated 82 active intelligence cases, monitored 59 vessels of interest, and carried out 24 successful seizure operations. The seizures included more than 5,200 kilograms of cocaine, valued at over $44 million and 1,848 kilograms of marijuana, valued at more than $6.8 million. Authorities also confiscated illegal alcohol, cigarettes, and banned refrigerant gas, along with 2 firearms, 65 rounds of ammunition, 13 vessels, and 3 vehicles. The operation also intercepted 59 irregular migrants traveling through multiple air and sea transit routes. CARICOM Impacts says the intelligence gathered during Operation Eclipse will help participating countries identify persistent illicit networks and inform long-term border security policies. Cuba, Dominica, Grenada, and Antigua and Barbuda are among the countries covered by the U.S. Visa Bond Program, which was made permanent on the 3rd of August. Under the rule, some nationals applying for B1 business or B2 tourist visas may be required to post a refundable financial guarantee before their visas are issued. The bond can be set at $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 US, with consular officers generally expected to set the amount at $15,000. The requirement does not apply automatically to every citizen of a designated country, and the bond is not an additional visa application fee or a guarantee that a visa will be approved. The U.S. government says the financial guarantee is intended to encourage travelers to comply with their visa conditions and depart the United States within their authorized period of stay. Antigua and Barbuda has already indicated that it is lobbying Washington to remove its citizens from their visa bond requirement. The bond is generally refunded when travelers comply with the conditions, but it may be forfeited if a traveler overstays or substantially violates the terms of the bond. On the international scene, President Donald Trump says the United States will substantially reduce joint military exercises with South Korea, citing his relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Trump also referenced South Korea's decision not to join the United States in its efforts to denuclearize Iran. South Korea says it is reviewing the comments, while adding that it hopes improved relations between Washington and Pyongyang could lead to meaningful talks. The announcement comes as the United States and South Korea prepare for their annual ULCHI Freedom Shield military exercises, which are scheduled to begin Monday. The 11-day exercise is expected to involve about 18,000 South Korean troops, with U.S. military officials saying the training is designed to prepare for the threat posed by North Korea. North Korea has condemned the drills as a rehearsal for an aggressive war, while Pyongyang has also carried out ballistic missiles tests in recent days. Experts warn that scaling back the exercises could affect coordination between U.S. and South Korean forces and weaken deterrence against potential conflict in the region. About 28,500 U.S. military personnel are currently stationed in South Korea. Trump previously suspended its South Korean military exercises in 2018 during denuclearization talks with Kim Jong-un. And at least 53 people have died and about 5,000 others have been displaced following a powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake in Indonesia. The earthquake struck the island of shortly before 5 in the morning, local time on Saturday, at a depth of about 15 kilometers. Indonesia's National Disaster Management Agency says more than 900 homes and hundreds of other buildings have been severely damaged following the earthquake and more than 300 aftershocks. The Manggarai and East Manggarai provinces are among the worst affected areas, with deaths also reported in Sika, Ende, Nagikyo, and West Manggarai. Thousands of people have been evacuated, while dozens of others have suffered serious injuries. Schools, healthcare facilities, and government offices have also been damaged, with one regional hospital forced to treat patients in temporary tents after parts of its ceiling collapsed. A tsunami warning was issued following the earthquake, prompting about 2,000 people to self-evacuate, but the warning was later lifted after no significant rise in sea level was detected. Landslides have blocked access to some villages, complicating rescue efforts as teams continue searching for survivors. Authorities say providing basic needs and emergency supplies to evacuees is a top priority. Indonesia is prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity because it sits along the meeting point of 3 major tectonic plates. We now take a look at the weather. A small craft advisory is in effect for St. Christopher and Nevis, with seas between 1.2 and 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Small craft operators are advised to exercise caution. Winds will be east at 9 to 17 miles per hour. Meanwhile, relatively dry and stable conditions will continue across the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands today. Today will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. An approaching tropical wave is expected to increase the chances for cloudiness and showers across the eastern Caribbean later today and tonight, with these conditions spreading to the Leeward Islands, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico later Monday and on Tuesday. Today's high temperature will reach around 32 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of around 26 degrees. Sunset today is at around 6:35, while sunrise tomorrow will be at approximately 5 minutes before 6. That brings us to the end of the Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. God bless you.